In the bustling city of Boston, tucked away in a forgotten corner of the suburbs, there lies an abandoned building with a dark and tragic history. Coldridge Asylum, once a state-of-the-art psychiatric facility, now stands in eerie silence, its halls filled with the weight of untold horrors. The asylum was closed in the late 1990s after a series of mysterious deaths and malpractice accusations, leaving behind countless stories of patients who suffered within its walls. The building had long since fallen into disrepair, its windows shattered, its doors hanging off their hinges. But for urban explorers and thrill seekers, it remained an irresistible temptation. They came for the thrill, the danger, and the stories of the paranormal that surrounded Coldridge. According to local legend, the spirits of the patients who died in the asylum still roamed its decaying corridors, their voices echoing through the empty halls at night. The most chilling of these stories is the tale of the woman in white. She was a patient named Margaret Reed, committed in the 1970s for severe schizophrenia. Her treatment was brutal and unrelenting, subjected to archaic methods like electroshock therapy. Over the years, she became a shell of her former self, often seen by the other patients wandering the halls in a tattered white gown, muttering to herself. One night, she vanished from her room, her body never found. Since then, her ghost has reportedly been seen by those brave enough to enter Coldridge, always in the same white gown, her face contorted in agony. One recent encounter shook the city to its core. A group of four friends, drawn to the asylum by the legend, decided to spend the night exploring its haunted halls. Armed with flashlights and cameras, they entered Coldridge just as the sun began to set. For the first few hours, everything was quiet, just the sound of their footsteps echoing through the building. But as the night wore on, things took a terrifying turn. They began to hear faint whispers, too low to make out, but enough to send chills down their spines. The temperature in the building dropped drastically, and one of the friends, Emma, suddenly stopped in her tracks, her eyes wide with fear. "Do you hear that?" she whispered, her voice trembling. The others strained to listen, and that's when they heard it, the sound of soft, shuffling footsteps behind them. When they turned around, there was no one there. Panicked, they decided to leave, but as they made their way back to the entrance, they passed by an old, rusted metal door that had once led to the basement. The door was slightly ajar, and from the darkness beyond, they heard a faint female voice humming an old lullaby. Emma, overcome with curiosity, stepped closer to the door. As she peered into the darkness, she saw her, the woman in white, standing at the bottom of the stairs, staring up at her with hollow, sunken eyes. Screams filled the air as the group fled the building, their cameras forgotten in the panic. Later, when they retrieved their footage, they found something chilling. The camera had captured a faint, ghostly figure in the basement, just as Emma had described. Since that night, Coldridge Asylum has remained a place of fear and mystery. Locals avoid it, but thrill seekers still visit, hoping to catch a glimpse of the woman in white. But those who've seen her warn, if you hear her lullaby, it may already be too late.